If you're ready to start booking paid photography jobs, but you're not quite sure how to get your work in front of potential clients, then this video series is for you.
Welcome back to the free Marketing Tactics for Photographers video series. Now, today we are going to be discussing how some of your past clients can actually be a really fruitful source of future jobs.
But before we jump into that, we want to introduce ourselves.
I'm Hunter.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're Hunter and Sarah Photography, a husband and wife professional wedding photography team.
We're also educators, and our goal is to help photographers to build strong foundations in both their businesses and their personal lives so that they can run profitable and sustainable photography businesses.
So last week we dove headfirst into this Marketing Tactics video series, talking about how you can book some of your very first jobs by using Facebook communities and groups.
Yeah. This week, we're going to talk about how a few small steps after every job you shoot can help multiply your paid work.
Now, the basic principle of this video is pretty straightforward. You go out, serve your clients well, deliver great images, and then we use those clients and their great experience to help book you new jobs. It's fairly simple in principle, but there are several different ways that you can actually implement this. So that's really what we're going to be diving into in this video. But if you do this right, a word-of-mouth referral can turn one job into 2 paid jobs or 3 paid jobs or 10 paid jobs. So let's dive right in.
Yeah. So it is no secret in the business world that word-of-mouth referrals, basically someone telling a friend or a family member about a product or service that they love, is an incredible source of free marketing. Most cases, word-of-mouth referrals are more effective than paid advertising, although they can be a bit harder to get.
And that should make sense intuitively, right? You're going to trust what your friend tells you about a product or service more than, a random ad that you get targeted for on social media, right? But like Sarah said, the problem is they can be a little bit harder to get. And the reason is the only way to get a true, genuine word-of-mouth referral is to basically just love and serve your clients so well that they can't help talk about you to other people.
However, once you start getting these referrals, they can single-handedly make the difference between a photography business that struggles to book any paid jobs and one that's so busy that it is raising its prices every few months. Especially early on in your business, word-of-mouth referrals are incredibly important, but we're going to touch on that a little more at the end.
So in order to understand maybe intuitively why word-of-mouth referrals are so powerful, if this doesn't make sense to you just yet, let's think about another context, right? Let's think about restaurants. So take a moment and think about your absolute all-time favorite restaurant in the city or town where you live, right? So when a friend visits from out of town, how often is that the place you recommend they go, right? How often do you just go there by yourself or with your closest friends or family? And how often do you maybe post about this on social media, tell your friends about it? You get the idea.
Yeah. Now think about a restaurant in town that you've been to once or twice, but you weren't really that thrilled about. Come out and you're kind of like, that was pretty good. Not the worst, not the best. Now, how often do you recommend that restaurant to family? Probably never. But that first restaurant, the one that is your favorite, if you're a big fan of it, they probably have gotten business just because you are a big fan of it and have recommended it to everyone you know. And they didn't have to pay you to advertise to your friends or even bribe you to share about them. They just gave you the best taco or plate of pasta or pizza that you've ever had. So you couldn't help but share.
And word-of-mouth buzz works the same way with your photography business, right? Imagine if every time you went out and shot a family session, that family told their friends and family about you and you booked 2 more sessions from that one job. And then both of those jobs booked you 2 more, which then booked you 2 more, and all of a sudden you can see how this can become literally exponential and very easily, very quickly fill a photographer's calendar basically completely for free.
Yeah, and that same principle can apply to wedding photography as, the friends, the family, the wedding party, and the wedding guests as well of your past couples can recommend you and become your future couples.
We've had several of our bridesmaids from our past weddings later go on to become our brides because of the way we love and serve our couples. But so if word-of-mouth referrals are so powerful, how can you actually get them as a photographer, right? The way that Sarah and I see it, there's kind of 4 different methods that you can use, and they kind of go on we're going to list them out as sort of the easiest to do, but probably least effective, to the hardest and most work, but probably most effective.
So method number 1 is to basically just do your best with your clients and hope that they tell their friends and family. Although this method doesn't require literally any additional work on your part. It just also isn't a great strategy for growth. By like default, this is probably what you're already doing. So if you aren't getting a ton of word of mouth referrals, you either need to improve your photography and client experience, or this strategy just might not be working for you.
So method number 2 kind of takes that just a little step further, where you're still largely relying on the experience you give, but you're just mentioning to them, hey, would you mind sharing about me or my Instagram or whatever with anyone else who might be looking for a wedding photographer, or anyone else who needs, seeing your photos shoot? And maybe that comes at the end of the session. If you know that you've given them a ton of a great experience, they had a ton of fun, maybe you mention it there. If maybe you feel like, the photos that you delivered are really incredible, maybe you say it in the final email that you send to them. But it's literally just the same as method 1, except you just explicitly say, hey, would you mind sharing me with someone else?
Now, method number 3. It's going to take a little more effort, but it's all about creating incentives for your past clients to share with their friends and family. So you'll want to create a deal or an offer of some kind that's only redeemable if they send you a lead that books you. So for a family photographer, maybe you send them a $50 Amazon gift card or a $100 credit to your print store.
Or bonus points, you can partner with another local business that maybe gives you discounted gift cards or something else that really fits your brand and your ideal client.
Yeah, that's a good idea. If they recommend another family to you who actually books you for their family session.
Now, if you're saying to yourself, wait, I thought these were free marketing tactics, that cost money, you are right, and technically this would not be a free marketing tactic, but you would only be giving out this gift card or this gift or whatever to people, to your past clients who actually go out and basically book you a paid job that you probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise, right? So maybe we'll call this a zero money upfront marketing method. It's not technically free, but like Sarah said, the key here is that you're not just giving away gift cards or whatever for people who recommend you, but only if they recommend you to someone who then actually books you for the job.
Yeah, you're not paying for, an Instagram ad that yields nothing.
Yeah, you're paying for an actual booked job.
Yeah. So finally, method number 4 is the most work intensive, and to be honest, is going to work the best for those of you who feel like you are a good salesperson.
Or at least comfortable just cold calling, reaching out to people, being fairly...
Got that confidence.
Yeah, extroverted, confident, that kind of stuff.
You'll actually ask your clients for... after they get their photos back, you'll actually ask them if they feel comfortable sharing the name and contact info of anyone who might also be looking for photography. Then you cold call or email those people, name drop the person who connected you, and then try to sell to them, usually with some sort of offer.
So this can be as simple as either a phone call or an email where you just, drop them a line and you say like, hey, Jessica, my name is Hunter. I'm a local family photographer. It's great to meet you. I just captured your friend Sam and her wonderful family, and she thought you and your family might also be interested in doing some photos with us. We're having a sale through the end of this month, so if you're at all interested, we would love to chat more about that. It can be that simple. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. It doesn't have to be anything salesy. Yeah. But basically, you're using their network to grow your network.
Actively. And you might even combine this with method number 3. So your clients have even more incentive to share these leads who will book you.
Now, if you have ever worked with like a realtor or a financial planner, you've probably encountered this sort of referral network before, right? This wouldn't be the first time your clients maybe have ever interacted with something like this. But obviously, your clients need to trust you and also be huge fans of your work for this method to actually yield any results for you, right? If you did an okay job for them or they're like not huge fans of the photos, they're definitely not going to want to then, give their friends and family's contact info to you. But assuming you've done that and you have, a somewhat attractive offer and, a good phone script or whatever, and maybe a little bit of luck, this can be a really powerful method. Granted, like we said, this is the most work intensive, but if you have lots of time and not a ton of money to spend on marketing, this is probably one of the most effective ways to quickly fill your calendar with new portrait work.
Yeah, and honestly, Hunter and I cannot overstate the importance of word-of-mouth referrals during the early days of a portrait or wedding photography business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we think back to the early days of our wedding photography career, when we were in the $2,000 to $3,000 for full day coverage, this was probably like our second, maybe third year as wedding photographers. Over 50% of the weddings we booked were strictly word of mouth. This was our friends and family and past clients telling their friends and family about us, which translated to tens of thousands of dollars of weddings and a ton of growth for our business.
Yeah, and even before that, our early portrait work was booked almost 100% through word-of-mouth referrals. Since, we were broke college students slash, broke just out of college students slash newlyweds,
yeah.
all the above, during those formative years of our business. And our apprentices and students tell us the same thing, week in and week out about the early days of their own businesses.
And one last thing, and we've mentioned this several times, but just to be really explicit about this, the sort of underlying assumption on this whole conversation is that you're giving your clients a wonderful experience and delivering photos that they feel are a really good value for what they paid, right? If you aren't doing that right now, no amount of marketing, no amount of referral network, none of that is going to work for you because no one wants to share about something that isn't that great, right? Think back to that restaurant that you like, kind of meh. If they say, oh, we'll give you a $10 gift card if you share about us, you're like, well, I don't want to come back here anyway, so why would I share, right? You have to be giving a quality experience and a quality product if any of this is going to work.
Yeah. So you need to get out there and love and serve your clients to the absolute best of your ability, and then continually grow as a photographer so that your clients feel like, wow, I can't believe that I only paid this much for these photos. These are worth so much more to me than what I paid for them.
And there's no dollar amount that you put on that. It's just whatever you're charging, you want your couples, your families, your seniors, whatever, to feel like they got a deal, right? That your photos are worth more than that, and no matter what price point you're doing.
Yeah, but that's it for today. We'll have a new post for you next week, but in the meantime, think about how you can get more word-of-mouth referrals from past clients.
And in the meantime, between this video and our new video next week, if you need to, need a little community or want to keep growing, we want to just continually encourage you to join our Facebook community called Mastering the Wedding Photography Biz with Hunter and Zara. There's also tons of portrait photographers in there, so if you're not doing weddings, don't feel intimidated. But this is just a community that we're building with tons of other photographers in the early stages of building their businesses, and we'd love to just walk alongside you, and we're posting that every day along with the video content we're uploading every week.
Yeah, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to our channel, so you'll be the first to know when we publish new content each week.
And of course, if you did find this video helpful, you have questions, anything you want to add, feel free to comment below.
But thanks, guys. We'll see you next week with another free marketing tactic.